Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. This week, we are doing another tier list, and we are doing a fun tier list. We are going to be ranking and tier listing all 36 levels from Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. One of the biggest games of my childhood, one of the best games, honestly, ever created, I would have to say. Um, yeah, an absolute banger of a game. And this is going to be a really, really fun video. Now, I'm not going to be ranking any bonus levels or like this tier list. It's not mine. I didn't make this one. I will drop the link in the bio if you guys want to do your own. But this tier list includes other Lego games or other Lego Star Wars games, I should say. I'm not going to be doing all of those, just the complete saga levels. Um, but if you guys like the video, please feel free to leave a like. Let's just hop straight into it because this is going to be a long video, to be honest with you. Let's not waste any time. Now, kicking it off with an absolute classic, I would say out of any level we're about to rank, this one is the hardest because a lot of people have nostalgia for this level. It is the first level that you play when you play this game. It is very, very easy. But to be fair, I think, when I look at this level, we should rank it with nostalgia aside. Not even thinking about nostalgia, not even factoring that in, because I think that'll kind of take us off course here if we are doing it because of that. To me, negotiations is a very basic level. There's really nothing going on. You're just in that ship in the beginning of the Phantom Menace. And personally, without biasy, because it is the first level and it's so iconic, it falls into D tier for me, which is obviously, if you haven't looked at the tiers yet, we have the Purple Stud, which is S tier, very fun, which is A, slightly more enjoyable than normal, which is B, and then we have like our whatever levels, and then a little bit worse than just a basic level, which is D, and then Forgettable or Bad, which is E, and then F is horrible, absolutely atrocious. And I think you guys can kind of already predict what levels are going to be in there. But to me, negotiations, just with how fast it is and how easy it is and kind of boring once you play it the first time, it really is. It lands in D tier for me. That might be a controversial take. I don't know. Now, coming up next, we have Invasion of Naboo from the Phantom Menace. And this level is actually, you could argue is more straightforward and more quicker than negotiations. It is a very, very quick level. But to me, it lands in C tier above negotiations. I really, really like the setting and the atmosphere of this level, being on Naboo, and going through all those different uh, uh, like buildings and stuff and ancient ruins and whatever. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it adds a little bit more than negotiations does, although it is still a very basic level and there's not really much offered in this level. I just really like the surroundings and the setting of Naboo. um Now our next level is Escape from Naboo. And this level is a little bit better than the other two. I think it's slightly more enjoyable just because, once again, this level gets bonus points for just how pretty the setting is of Naboo, in the palace. And you get to play as Amidala with her like queen robes or whatever. And it's a fairly straightforward level. It's not too hard. It's not too demanding. I think it's a little bit more enjoyable than the average level, but that's just me. And I really like like I said, I really like the palace that you're in. I think it's a nice location. Now, one thing you'll notice with the Phantom Menace levels is they continuously get better as it goes on. And that is the case with the Mos Espa pod race, which lands into A tier. This was one of the hardest levels growing up to play, but it was also like the most fun, I would say. It was a lot of fun going around I mean, it just made sense. It was a vehicle mission, a vehicle level that just made sense, and it was a lot of fun. And despite it being hard, I think the challenge as a kid made it a little bit more fun, and it made it stand out in my head. to me growing up. But we're going to drop it back down here to retake Theed Palace, which I think I'd still put in front of Negotiations, but it's going into D tier. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this level. It's basically like the same setting as Escape from Naboo, but you're the at least the first portion of the level when you're in that giant room and there's just a bunch of droids shooting at you. It's honestly kind of annoying. Um, and I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of this level. You're also playing as like 6 characters, but it's not horrible. I just I don't really look forward to this level when I replay this game. It's kind of annoying, and like I said, we already basically got the same level in Escape from Naboo. The only difference is the characters are in different outfits. Some of the characters are in different outfits, and you get to play as Anakin. I don't know. It's nothing really special, to be honest with you. But our next level is going to jump us right back up with Darth Maul. It is I'm going to put it below Pod Race, though. I think it's below Pod Race, but I still think it is in A tier for sure. Yeah, Darth Maul is a great level. Really, really unique and creative boss fight, too, where you're just kind of chasing him throughout most of the level, and then at the end, they match it to the movie really well, where you fight him in that room, and even before that, you have to go through like all the laser doors and stuff. So I think that they did a really good job of making this like the movie, and obviously the atmosphere and the actual setting is pretty cool as well, and it matches the movie very well. So this is a good level, good boss fight, and a really, really good way to end the Phantom Menace in the game. Now, coming up next, we have Bounty Hunter Pursuit. Now, Bounty Hunter Pursuit is a vehicle mission. It is not one of the worst vehicle missions in the game. In fact, I'd argue it's one of the better ones. But at the end of the day, it is still a vehicle mission, and most vehicle missions are going to land in E or F, to be honest with you. They are just very, very taxing. They are very annoying to play, honestly. And this one's no different. I mean, you get stuck in like that little square, and then you have to get out of it. But I'd say out of all the other ones, they're not as tedious. I would say that's kind of the main word I would use to describe vehicle missions. This one's not as tedious as the average one in this game, but it's still pretty annoying, to be honest with you. I do like the setting, though. Flying over Coruscant, it's really cool. You know, flying through the city and stuff. You feel like you're in the movie, but at the end of the day, it's still a vehicle mission. All right, guys. I have some biasy when it comes to the next level, and that next level being Discovery on Camino. I have a lot of biasy towards this level because I love this scene in the game, or I'm sorry, in the movie. I love Camino as a planet, and I've just always loved this atmosphere. I've loved playing the level where it's raining. You know, you feel like you're in the movie. You're going through the buildings in Camino. And then it ends with such a good boss fight with Jango Fett, where you're fighting Jango Fett, Boba Fett's in the ship shooting at you at the same time. It's just really creative, and I just love I love everything about this level, and I always have. So this might be controversial, but Discovery on Camino is going into S tier for me. It is going to be the first S tier level for us on the day, and there's only a handful of these. So yeah, I am a huge fan of Discovery on Camino. Let me know what you guys think. Is that way too high? It's literally nothing special as a level. It's just the planet of Camino I've always loved as a Star Wars fan. So yeah, that's what puts it there for me. Now our next level is going to be Droid Factory, and this level's all right. It definitely is a C tier level, a little bit above Invasion of Naboo. It's nothing crazy. I will say that, you know, it does get creative, and I'm definitely glad that they made this part of the movie a level because it just makes sense. I mean, when you watch the actual movie and you watch this scene, it's so goofy looking that it just makes sense in a Lego game. So I'm definitely glad they let you play this level, and It does get pretty creative in the way that you have to get the droids across and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's average. It's whatever. I don't hate it. Like I don't not look forward to playing it, but I'm not dying to play it. So it's a pretty C tier level if you ask me. But coming up next, we have Jedi Battle, and I don't know if this is a hot take at all, but I cannot stand Jedi Battle. It is actually going to go into E tier for me, above Bounty Hunter Pursuit if it'll let me. But I've never been a fan of this level. It is so annoying. You're just getting shot at the entire time, and all you basically do is save um, the Jedi's, and then after that, you just have a worse boss fight with Jango Fett. Like you have a second boss fight with him, but it's even worse than the Camino one, or not even worse, because the Camino one's actually really good, but it's a lot worse than the Camino one. So to me, this level's not special at all. You do get to play as Mace Windu, which I think is the only time in this game you can play as him. In fact, I know it's the only time in this game that you can play as him. So that part of it is really cool to me. But other than that, the actual level to me is just annoying and forgettable. Um, oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh, it's a perfect segue into this next level. Gunship Cavalry. Gunship Cavalry is what I see when I go to sleep at night and have the worst nightmares of my life. I see this level. It is horrible. There's another level on this list that is arguably worse, or just as bad. And you guys might already know which one I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, this level is atrocious. This level used to make me rage so fucking hard. You know when like when you, because I used to play these on Wii when I was growing up, and they would say, like the Wii thing would pop up when you turn on your Wii, and it would say, make sure you have that little thing around your wrist so that the controller doesn't come flying out of your hand. That was made for this level, because this level pisses me off so fucking much. I don't even ever want to look at it again. It goes beyond hurting to play. It pretty much ruins your entire life. It ruins your entire day when you play this game. I mean, I hope I'm not being too dramatic. I don't think I am. Anybody who's played this game can agree with me that when you see this level, you just want to shrivel up and jump out a window. But coming up next, we actually have a good level, in my opinion. It is quick, so it's not as in-depth as Darth Maul, but at the end of the day, it's still a boss fight. It's still an iconic fight from the prequels, and I don't know. I've always been a huge fan of Count Dooku. I've always been a huge fan of this scene, and the fact that you get to play as Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then it follows the movie where Anakin is obviously out of commission, and then Yoda just pulls up and fucks some shit up. I mean, that's a lot of fun. And once again, I'm pretty sure this is the only time. This isn't the only time you play as Yoda, but this is the first time in the game that you play as Yoda towards the end. So honestly, I kind of like the simplicity of this level. I like how fast you get to the boss fight. I still prefer Darth Maul because it follows the movie so well, but I like how quick this one is, and it just gets straight to the point, and you just have a pretty cool boss fight. Now we are going into Revenge of the Sith levels, and this is where it gets honestly really good. I think that Revenge of the Sith probably has the best levels in this game. Like when you're talking about the 6 different movies, I think Attack of the Clones is pretty good. But I also think Revenge of the Sith is probably the best one. Now, we start off with a vehicle mission, but this vehicle mission is very, very unique, especially compared to the other ones in this game, and honestly compared to any other vehicle mission I've played in a Lego game. And that's going to be Battle over Coruscant. And it actually lands fairly high for it being a vehicle mission. I don't know. I think since it's still vehicle, I'm going to put it below Invasion of Naboo, but it lands in C tier, which really, like I said, is pretty high for a vehicle level. But this one's fun to me. It basically, you're just playing like you're in the movie, because you don't really have to like find your way around. You're just going in a set path the entire time. So it's taking you where you need to go. You just have to shoot stuff, and also get in the right area at the right time. So I really like this level. I think I think it has cool scenery in it. It follows the movie really well, and you get to listen to the music from the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. And I think it's a fun level. I just don't think like I'm ever dying to play it, but I'm also not like, oh fuck, Battle of a Coruscant. I actually think it's cool, um, to a certain point. So it's a good C tier level for me. Now coming up next, I think it gets really good when you actually get into the ship. Chancellor in Peril is one of the best levels in this game, honestly. I actually really like it. You get to play as Revenge of the Sith Anakin. You get to play as Obi-Wan, R2-D2. And then you also get two boss fights in this movie, or I'm sorry, in this scene, if I remember right. Actually, I'm sorry, you don't end up fighting General Grievous. That's in another level, but you still fight his guards at the end. You get to fight Count Dooku again, and I don't know. I think this level is a lot of fun. I think it's a better version of like the Death Star levels, in my opinion, which might be a hot take, but I really like it, and it lands fairly high for me. I mean, you could even argue. No, I think I'm going to keep it right here. I think I'm going to keep it right here, and I think I might drop it below Darth Maul. But a huge fan of that level. Now, coming up next, we do have the boss fight with General Grievous, and this level is pretty much just the boss fight the entire time. So if you thought Count Dooku was quick, this one is fairly quick. But you do have to do more, I would say, to defeat General Grievous. I'm gonna put it in B tier above Escape from Naboo. I love boss fight levels. They just make it so much more fun, to be honest, and a lot more rewarding. Which is why I'm a huge fan of Lego Batman, which I'm replaying right now, and then I will make a video. But General Grievous is a good level just because it's a boss fight. I do think it's a weaker boss fight just because you pretty much just fight him the entire time, and then he's like hopping onto a cliff, and you have to keep chasing him. So it's not amazing. It's not like the other ones for sure, but I still think that it's pretty enjoyable. Um, Now coming up next, we have Defense of Kashyyyk, and this one I have never been a fan of. I don't know what it is about this level. It honestly is pretty cool, and I'm sure a lot of people like it, but I could never, like as a kid, I never liked this level. I don't know why. I really don't. It actually lands in D tier for me, and I'll put it above Negotiations, but I don't know why. I just have never liked this level. It almost feels a little tedious to me. I do think it's cool how you're fighting droids and clones. That's kind of when it starts to when shit kind of starts to hit the fan. Is this level right here? But I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of this level. Let me know if you guys agree. But or let me know if I'm just an idiot. If this is a classic, because to me, I don't know. I've never really liked this one. But coming up next, we have one that honestly I might be higher on than most. I actually think that they took what was such a quick scene in the movie, because there's a lot of levels in this game where the actual scene in the movie is not really that long, but they just kind of drag out. And to me, Defense of Kashyyyk is kind of like that level. And there's another one that we're gonna get to soon that fucking is horrible, and they do that to the max. But Ruin of the Jedi is one of those levels that they tried to do that with, and it worked for me. I think that they made it a very effective level. And I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it above Escape from Naboo, and honestly, even above General Grievous. It is the only level in this game. You know, before we got the Clone Wars game and everything, this was the only level in the game where you actually got to go inside the Jedi Temple and go into those cool buildings. I think it's pretty creative. I like how you, even though I don't think this is even in the movie, it's been a minute, honestly, since I've watched Revenge of the Sith, but I don't think in the movie they fight clones that have hoodies or whatever that make them look like Jedi, but I thought that was kind of creative. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this level. It's simple. It's honestly pretty quick. But playing as Obi-Wan and Yoda and just fucking up some clones, I don't know. This one has always spoken to me as a kid and had a soft spot in my heart. And I think the way they executed this level was very well. But nothing. And spoiler alert, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, nothing will ever come close to this next level. Nothing touches this next level. Darth Vader is easily an S tier level. It is the best level in the game. The way that they matched, because I was talking about with the Darth Maul level, how well they matched the movie, how well they made it feel like you were actually in the scene in the movie. They did this like times 10 in Darth Vader. Yeah, they executed this level so well. Every time I play it, I'm just reminded by how good it is, and honestly, kind of how hard it is. I replayed this game like kind of recently, I'd say like 6 months ago or a year ago, and I forgot how kind of like challenging this level is. I think you can make an argument, especially like at the beginning when you're trying to run away from that thing, or everything's blowing up, and it's kind of like the boulder level from Indiana Jones. I don't know. It's honestly harder than I thought, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun. That one is so good, so creative, and I don't know if another level is going to touch that in any other game, just based off of how they did it whenever they made this game, like 2008 or whatever. But that's all of our prequel levels. So far, only S tier levels are Darth Vader and Discovery on Camino, and our only level in F tier, which there's going to be some more levels in F tier, don't worry. Our only level in F tier is the god-awful Gunship Cavalry. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to look at it anymore. Anyways, let's hop into the original movies. So starting off with A New Hope. And the first level of A New Hope is Secret Plans. Now this level is pretty straightforward. It's nothing crazy, but it is iconic just because it's the first scene of A New Hope, first scene of the first movie of Star Wars. Obviously, it's an iconic scene, and I think they did a really good job of capturing this scene in this level. But to me, I've never like loved it. It's kind of just a C tier level to me. I think it goes above. I think it's in the front of C tier, but I still think it's C tier. It's never been anything too crazy, anything too special, but it's effective. Okay, Secret Plans. Now we're going to talk about a level this level is my op, bro. Gunship Cavalry's bad. This level is my fucking op. Through the Junlin Wastes is one of the worst levels in any Lego game, period. It might be the worst non-vehicle mission ever created. I cannot stand this level. It is so goddamn long for no reason. Literally for no reason. This level lasts so long, and I have no idea why. They took a scene, like I was talking about earlier, they took a scene that was probably like 10 minutes. I don't know. I haven't watched New Hope in a while, but not this long. I know that. And they made it like an hour-long level, to be honest. And especially as a kid, this level was so frustrating and so hard for no reason. I cannot stand it. And especially when you go into the actual like sand crawler thing where you get the droids, and every single fucking time you are either R2-D2 or C-3PO, you just get zapped and you can't move. It is the most frustrating fucking thing I like ever. So yeah, this level is straight up my op. It is going into F tier so easily. You could even argue below Gunship Cavalry. At least you don't have to fucking fly a gunship, and at least it's not a vehicle mission. But this movie, or this level is awful. It's so bad. Please let me know what your guys' thoughts are. This level has always been just at the bottom of my list for forever. It's kind of getting dark right now. I'm going to turn on my lights real quick. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. The lights are on. Hopefully you guys can see me better. But one more comment that I had before we move on is they should have just ended this game after you got out of the sandcrawler. I don't know why you do more shit after that. And you got to like soak up the mud or whatever. It like I said, the most useless level ever. But anyways, Not a huge fan, honestly, of the New Hope levels. I've never really liked them. I know that it's such an iconic movie, and therefore it should be iconic levels, but they really aren't because Moss Eisley's spaceport isn't anything crazy as well. It's still not as tedious and fucking AIDS as the Through the Junland Waste level, but I don't really enjoy it still. I'm putting it below Negotiations, honestly. I've just never been a fan of these levels. They're so basic, they're so plain, and kind of ugly. You're just on Tatooine. Anyways, it and another thing too is if Moss Eisley Spaceport was just like a standalone level, it wouldn't really be like as a standalone level. It's really not that bad. But when you're playing this level or when you're playing this game continuously, and you have to go through the Junland Waste and then this level, you're just done. You're over being on Tatooine. It's so ugly and it just takes forever. I can't stand it. Anyways, let me stop being a hater. Let's move on, and we'll be a little positive here. Rescue the Princess is it's a pretty good level. I like being on the Death Star. It's a good atmosphere, and it captures the movie pretty well. I'm debating where I want to put it. I think I'll no, I'm putting it right here. Still, I don't love New Hope levels, but I think this one's pretty good. It's probably the best one in the entire. In fact, it is the best one in A New Hope, and this level is good. I think the level after it suffers from the same thing that Moss Eisley Spaceport suffers from, and I understand why they had to break it off into two levels because the Death Star, you know, the part in the movie where they're in the Death Star lasts so long. I totally understand why they split it into two, but Death Star Escape is not good at all. Death Star Escape is actually not a bad level, and there's one thing about it that just completely drops it to the ground for me, and it's going into E tier. It's gonna go right here. I still would rather play Jedi Battle than this level, and it for one reason, and I'll tell you why. The end of this level, you are getting absolutely railed by like 90 stormtroopers continuously. At the same time, you are trying to drive this stupid little yellow car and hit like these 6 green buttons in a row, or they're red at the time. You're trying to get them green. And it is the most tedious fucking thing ever. I was raging really hard when I replayed this game. And there's times where you just get it like on the first try, and then there's times where it takes you like 9 different times to get it. It is the most annoying and pointless thing ever. Luke Skywalker was never driving a little fucking yellow car trying to get these tiles to turn green in the movie. It's the stupidest thing ever, and it drops it so far. If they didn't add that in there, this level would be way higher. It would be with probably Rescue the Princess, but that last little part of the level is just so AIDS. I can't stand it. But finishing off A New Hope, we have Rebel Attack, and it is a vehicle mission. It's not horrible, but it's not good. Rebel Attack is gonna land in E tier as well. I'm gonna put it below here. I'm gonna put it in front of Bounty Hunter Pursuit. I think it's a little bit more fun than Bounty Hunter Pursuit, and I really don't think Rebel Attack is that hard, but it's just not insanely fun whatsoever. It's a vehicle mission, so pretty much it's automatically bad. But now we're going to kick off Empire Strikes Back, which Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back is probably my 2 favorite Star Wars movies. Empire Strikes Back is definitely my favorite original trilogy movie. But this first level is awful. It is so bad. It is that level that I was talking about earlier when I was talking about Gunship Cavalry, how there was another one on this list that could be even worse. That's arguably worse. And to me, honestly, it is worse because it is longer. Yeah, Hoth Battle is longer than Gunship Cavalry. It is a vehicle mission. It is honestly so annoying. There's the ending where you have to there's 4 different waves of Empire stuff that comes in, and you have to kill it before you can move on, and you have to. Actually, I'm sorry. One thing about this level that I do like is how they implement what Luke does in the movie, where he hooks up the cable and then goes around the legs of the AT-AT. I actually like how they did that. It is kind of creative how they included that. So I'm gonna put it above Gunship Cavalry, but it is still just way longer than Gunship Cavalry and just as tedious and awful. But this next level I actually enjoy. Escape from Echo Base is cool. I like the setting of it. I like how you're in the base, you're trying to get out. You go through like the cool ice caves and stuff. I actually enjoy this level. I'm gonna put it into B tier. And I'm probably gonna put it like right here. I like Escape from Echo Base. Like I said, it's a cool setting, and they capture the feeling from the movie really well. Now coming up next, we have another pretty buns level. Honestly, this one is pretty buns. Falcon Flight, I think I'm putting an F tier as well. I think it goes in front of all three of these because it is kind of fun, and the music that they play during this level is awesome. But at the end of the day, you're just blowing up like meteoroids or whatever. What are those called again? Fuck, I can't remember. You're just blowing up floating rocks in space. It's nothing really crazy, and then you have to get the torpedoes from the rocks. They disappear if you don't get them fast enough, and then you have to shoot them just right. And you have to do this like 3 different times to get past, and it's kind of annoying. It gets very tedious, but I still don't think it's as bad as these 3. It's still in the same tier. Now coming up next, we have Dagobah. So this is another example of a level that would be so much higher if there just wasn't this one thing about this level. It is going into E tier as well. I'm still going to put it above Death Star Escape. But this level is really cool. I like how you land as Pilot Luke, and then you have the cutscene, and then you're in his training clothes, and then I like how they implemented Yoda jumping on your back, just like how it is in the movie. But the one thing that pisses me off about this level is those stupid fucking bats that attack you the entire time, or most of the time. They are so hard to hit because they're small, and they do normal damage. It's the most obnoxious thing ever, and they come out of nowhere. They're relentless, and the most annoying thing is that when you have Yoda on your back, because you have to have Yoda on your back for portions of this level to get past it. When you have Yoda on your back, as soon as a bat hits you, Yoda just flies back, and you go through certain point. I remember this one part of the level. You go through certain rocks and stuff, and you're going across the swamp and whatever, and you'll get all the way to the end. And if a bat comes out of nowhere and hits you, Yoda just fucking dips, and you have to go get him again. It's the most annoying thing ever. It was pissing me off so bad, and it really drops this level for me. It's the same thing as Death Star Escape, honestly, in the same situation. Now, this next level, this is where things get fire. Cloud City Trap, genuinely, I, like, growing up, didn't really pay too much attention to this level, but replaying this game, this is a very, very good level. Cloud City Trap is going into S tier for me. This is a very enjoyable level. It is a lot of fun. The way that they implemented the scenes from the movie, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good, and it's a very creative boss fight. It's kind of like Darth Maul, but I think even better in my opinion. They executed it better, and the way that you're just chasing after Darth Vader the entire time with R2-D2 at your side. I don't know. For some reason, this level just hits me hard. I really liked it, and like I said, when I was replaying this game, I found myself really, really liking this level, and I knew when I was playing it that it was going into S tier, so that's how I know that it belongs into S tier. Now, things kind of die out a little bit with Betrayal of Rebesman. I actually still think this is a good level, though. It's a good, I think I have this one in C tier. I'm going to put it at the front of C tier, though. I think it's borderline B because it's still pretty good. It's nowhere near Cloud City Trap. Cloud City Trap is best. It is by far the best original trilogy level in this game. Um, that is the end. That wraps up Empire Strikes Back. We have one movie left to rank. This movie's not too bad in terms of levels in this game. It kicks things off with Jabba's Palace, which Jabba's Palace is kind of in the same boat as Betrayal Over Bespin. They're very similar to me. I actually don't mind Jabba's Palace. The one thing that I think drops it below Bespin and doesn't put it into B tier is fighting those pig things are actually so annoying. And you're able to like stop them from, I would say, spawning, but dropping out of that tube thing. But still, fighting them they're so annoying because you play as Luke, and even if you play as like a Jedi, every time you try to attack them, they'll block it sometimes. So you have to like attack them. It takes a long time to beat them as a Jedi, which makes no sense. So I think the best way to defeat them is if you play like creative, or I'm sorry, if you play free play, and you have Darth Vader, and you just choke them out. But I don't know. It's so tedious trying to fight them. It's not as bad as like some of the other levels that I dropped, but it's still something that I remember vividly from it. Our next level is the Great Pit of Carcoon, and I'm putting it at the front of D tier. I never really loved this level. It's kind of long. I don't really like going through the barge. I don't know. I've just never been a fan of this level for some reason. And also it suffers from the same issue as Jabba's Palace, where you're still fighting those pig things. I don't know. Never loved it. I've never loved it. I like the beginning of the level when you're like jumping from ship to ship, just like from the movie. But I don't really like once you get on the barge. I honestly, this is probably one of those ones I can't really explain. It's just a D tier level for me. Never enjoyed it really. And this next level is also going into D tier. I'm gonna drop it below. I'm dropping it below Defense of Kashyyyk. This level is just kind of obnoxious to me, honestly. You're going back and forth from getting onto a speeder to being on the ground, getting onto a speeder, getting on the ground. You have to go through like 4 different checkpoints. It's tedious. It's annoying. I don't know. Never been a huge fan of this level. This next level, Battle of Endor, is pretty long as well. I still think it's better than Speeder Showdown, but I don't know why. I've also never been a huge fan of this one. I guess I just don't like the foresty ones for some reason, even though Invasion of Naboo is kind of high. I don't know. I've never liked the Kashyyyk / I'm pretty sure it's Kashyyyk in Empire Strikes Back as well. Or I'm sorry, in Revenge. Oh my gosh, Return of the Jedi. But I've never been a huge fan of these levels for some reason. I don't know why. You could argue it could go. I'm gonna put it above Retake Theed Palace, but below the Great Pit of Carcoon. This level is just really, really long, honestly. And our next level is going to be Jedi Destiny, which honestly just ends things so well. I know there's a level after this, but this level is really, really good. I'm putting it at the front of A tier. It is borderline S. It's very quick compared to the other levels in this movie, but it's very good and it's very creative. It's not as creative as Darth Vader, but it's a similar thing where you're getting to play as Darth Vader for the first time. That's one thing. But you're getting to play as Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker trying to defeat Emperor Palpatine, working together. I think it's creative. It's fun. The music's awesome. And I don't know. I've just really liked everything about this level. And this next one is another vehicle mission. This is our last level to rank. And I'm kind of going back and forth right now. I think I'm going to end up putting it into E tier at the end. I think the beginning of this level is very tedious. There is something to be said about being the last level in this game and kind of being the last push. But it's still very tedious to me. Did Jabba's Palace just fall out? No, it's up there. Okay, there's just a second tile, I guess. But yeah, this level's a little tedious to me. The ending though, I think bumps it up from F tier, where you're escaping the Death Star with the explosions behind you. I think that's a cool way to end it, and it's not horrible. I just don't think it's good, and it's still a vehicle mission. But guys, wow, that is it. We are done ranking all of these guys. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of my ranking? Did I fuck this up, or am I kind of spot on? Once again, Through the Jundland Waste are my straight up op. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have made it this far, please leave it a like. If you guys are new to this channel, I am a small channel, so please subscribe if you can. And I will be posting another tier list next week, next Friday. Tier list every Friday, and yeah. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.